We're live. We're live. Okay. Okay. I'm
All
really
right.
excited. This is Joseph Labasco, you guys. Debate the News True Crime. Nice looking, pleasant man in marketing. And yet, deep down inside, I think he's buried a couple people in his backyard. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. Hi, Joseph. Welcome to Adrienne Barker Speaks. No prep needed.
Hello, Adrian. Thank you for having me. And no, there are no bodies buried anywhere on my property. I can guarantee that.
Sure, that's what they all say. When the police come knocking on the door. So, first of all, we are live on Chatter Social. We've got a bunch of your friends in here. This is exciting because people who listen to Debate the News, I'm going to call out a few people to on mic so we can hear their voices. If you listen to Debate the News True Crime podcast with host Joseph Labasco and myself, you'll know and recognize some of these voices. And obviously, Joseph will agree with me. If you don't listen, you are the most uncool person in the world. Yeah, like cool people listen to Debate the News True Crime. Okay, Mariana, Mike could say hello.
Hello, and I'm sorry, I'm multitasking, but I cannot miss to be here with my favorite people, on Chatter.
Well, people are going to
So,
hear you.
hello.
We love when Mariana just chimes in. We love, love, love that. We've got our executive producer, Daniel Pachi. Daniel, can you, Mike, and say hi?
Hi, guys. I'm excited for this conversation.
So, Danielle, just before you go, talk about your podcast. We can't have you on any show without you to let the audience know about you.
Thank you, Adrienne. Well, my podcast is called Amplify You, where it's an interview-based podcast. I interview celebrities, influencers, entrepreneurs that have impacted the world in some way, and I amplify them on my show.
Awesome. You were so good. You're just thank you for always being an ear, too, besides everything else you do. And we've got Bobby. You probably heard Bobby on the show.
Oh, hello. Thanks for inviting me up. And I look forward to hearing all the secrets that Joseph has to tell us about his life. And he's a very handsome guy. I'm trying to put the voice to the face. So thank you for having me.
Interesting, Bobby, but thank you. Always chiming in and always being fantastic. And Kelly, you're kind of like behind the scenes. You have your own show and you're doing so much, but do you want to take the mic to say hello?
Hello, this is Kelly. I don't know what else to say, but I love you guys. I love your podcast. I love everything that you guys do. So glad to be here. Glad to listen in. So this is going to be great.
Thank you so much. We've got, oh my gosh, we've got chat in the house. Chat last night was so funny in the room. Chat, are you able to unmic and just share your name and about your fundraiser, if you wouldn't mind?
Sure. Hey Adrian, hey Joseph, hey baby daddy. So yeah, we actually this is almost the end of our first quarter, but with everything that's been going on with the VA, I have been inundated with phone calls from veterans, and I need to hire someone part time. So our goal for the second quarter is to raise about 20K to hire someone part time to help me with these claims, help these veterans as well. So that's what the link that I put in the other room, I'll put it in here. But that's what FinVet is focusing on, that and helping a veteran entrepreneur. So after our business incubator program in a couple of months, we hope to give those veteran business owners grants to help grow their businesses.
Awesome,
So
chat.
thank you.
I'm just so impressed. I'm just a really true fan of yours. So thank you so much. All right. We have Johanna from Poland, I see in the chat. We are talking Joseph Labasco and who he is. So the funny thing is I have been recording with Joseph over a year since March of last year. And Joseph, we never really see each other. Just once in a blue moon, my camera goes on by accident and people see how weird I look. So how are you, first of all? How do you feel? How's everything?
I'm good. I'm great. It is St. Patrick's Day. I have not started drinking yet, but probably will after this. I am good. I know we never go on camera, but Danielle has been pushing us to do that. So maybe we'll have to do that more often going forward.
100%. And let me just reach out to my butler and ask for my Irish coffee. Yo, butler. Okay, no, I don't really have a butler, but I could. I could make my husband a butler very easily. Okay, so Joseph, tell me about your love for true crime. Where is that even coming from?
Okay, so my love for true crime is actually a new love. I never liked true crime in the past. I always thought it was kind of weird and creepy, and I was just like, why are people like obsessed with true crime? That's so like dark and weird. And then COVID happened. And as we know, a lot of entertainment productions got shut down, movies, TV shows, and we started seeing a lot more like reality shows and documentaries flowing through. And it got to the point where I feel like I ran out of all the good shows and movies that I wanted to watch. And I was like, you know what? Let me just check out this true crime documentary because I do like documentaries. And I just got hooked. There was just a couple that were so good. And I was like, okay, I understand why people are into this. I think Murder on Middle Beach was one of the first ones that I watched where I was like, okay, I get it. So that's, long story short, that's where my love of true crime came out of.
That's so interesting. I always my love came from actually watching like a movie, and then I would be so fascinated, then I would watch the documentary. So a lot of times when I like the movie first for some reason, though it's not like factually correct, and then I watch a documentary. You really stick to the documentary first. Do you ever watch the movie after watching the documentary?
I mean, sometimes I'm sure I do. But no, I like, the factual aspect of it. Like I like to have that as the anchor because I do have a degree in journalism and PR. I never really use the journalism aspect of the degree, but I still know it. So I think, yeah, the wannabe secret journalist in me likes that, the documentary fact-based aspect of it more so than I think the theatrical aspect.
So I love that. Now, I want to ask you, what's your algorithm like?
My algorithm, honestly, is not really true crime based. My algorithm is Scream 7, Heated Rivalry, and like EDM music, I would say, is pretty much what my algorithm is. Because I don't know, I
That's so
guess,
funny.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really look up true crime stuff on social media. I feel like I don't know. I guess my Google algorithm doesn't touch my TikTok and my X algorithm. I think that's why.
But you're not on Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I have an Instagram. I deactivated it years ago because I just thought it was like annoying. So technically I have one, but I don't really go on it. No, I'm not a big social media person. Like back in college and in high school, just like everyone else, I was posting away. But as I started to get older, I was just kind of like, this is kind of annoying and weird. So no, I have an X account. I'll go on it occasionally and post. Chatter, obviously, I'm on all the time. And we obviously have the podcast. But no, I'm not a big social media person. I'm not big on putting, not everyone has to see every single thing that I'm doing all the time. That's how I feel.
That's so weird. I mean, I think everyone needs to see what I ate for the morning, how much I weigh, how my bags look, which they actually look really
They
good
look
today.
great. They
Um,
look great. So obviously you want people to see that.
but you know what? Honestly, when I'm looking at Facebook, how the algorithm works, right, is that if I'm looking at the murder of the children by the mother, and then I'm like maybe taking a few minutes to read it, it's like, oh, she likes that. Let's feed her more. And so my algorithm, and I tease
Hmm.
about it, but I really do have like the stories that are so crazy out there. Now you handle so much of the podcast, Debate the News, True Crime. You do the scheduling, you do the script, you do the writing of the script, and then you also do the editing, which you said. Tell everyone what you said about the time it takes to edit.
So I did do a rough calculation last week, and I do believe that I have spent about 2 weeks of my life over the past year editing this podcast, which, hey, that's what I volunteered for. I wouldn't have it any other way, but yes, I do, yes, spend a lot of time working on the podcast.
It's amazing. I do. Sorry, let me just turn off my phone. I do the social media aspect of it, but I'm always willing to do
Of
more.
course.
So Joseph, we've never really see each other. Our age difference is funny. I'm 63. I act like I'm 22. And do you want to give a general idea of how old you are?
No, I will. I am 37. So it's not that big of an age gap, Adrian. I mean, we both look great. We both look like we're in our 20s, so it's fine, right? Exactly.
We
Exactly.
both feel it.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
smooth. Your voice is silk.
Oh,
Like
thanks. I
everyone
don't know
loves your
about
voice.
that.
Tell me about your voice.
I mean, I honestly, I don't think so. After listening to it for 2 weeks of editing, I'm kind of sick of it, but I do always get compliments on it, so I'll take it, is what I'll say about that.
No, but like when you were younger and growing up, when you meet people, do they say, "Oh my God, your voice, I really like it"?
No, like not really. I think a lot of my friends have said like, "Oh, your voice." I never noticed like how great of like a radio voice you have until I listened to the podcast. So it's funny. People who have known me for decades are only now noticing that after listening to the podcast. So yeah, I don't know.
Isn't that weird, you guys? And by the way, if you guys have any questions, please just unmic and just interrupt like you do on, any room.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So let's talk about Chatter Social actually, because you came on. When did you actually come on?
So I came on, I want to say within the first 2 weeks of when they opened up. What was that, June, I think? And Adrian, I remember meeting you, one of the first people I connected with, which is so funny that now look at us now. We have this whole podcast, and I mean, it's amazing, right? But I think June of what, 2024? Yeah.
Yeah, June of 2024. And so, yeah, I think I came on the first 2 weeks too. And then you brought up true crime.
hmm
And then we said, why don't we just do it? Yeah.
Exactly. And you pushed me a lot because I'm like kind of, again, I said I'm not someone who is always putting myself out there. But, Nelson, our fave, the founder of Chatter Social, was like, yeah, I want people to create content. I want you to create rooms. And that's not something that I just organically do. I mean, obviously, I can do it. We've learned, both of us can. So I was like, you know what? What's something that I can do where I can just open up a room and be able to talk about something for an hour or whatever. And I was like, true crime, that's perfect. I can just do like one case, blah, blah, blah. So that was the thought behind it initially. I didn't even have like a date of when I was going to start it. But then I meet Adrienne, who is like the best. And obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you're familiar with her. And she's like, Joseph, okay, so we could do this, we could do that. She's got all these ideas. And that really pushed me to finally be like, okay, I said I was going to do this. Let's do this. So thank you, Adrian, for giving me that push.
Oh, silly, silly. No, but I wanted to talk about the Casey Anthony case
hmm
and George and Cindy Anthony, who I became friends with, and I wanted to share that they were innocent and that was an awful story. But you know what happened? The story before that was when I first moved to Celebration, there was another story that Nancy Grace was talking about. It was a young boy who was missing, and then they never found him, but the mother shot herself in her grandmother's closet. And unfortunately, that ended really like where he could be found. And that's why I got involved in Casey Anthony, because I thought, oh my gosh. But now there's so many stories of missing children. So how do you decide what stories to actually just decide to do? Because it varies so much, and I love that. There's quite a big variety of shows.
It does. I mean, honestly, we have a whole list of like tips that are submitted from our community. We have, I think, like a list of about 70 cases. Since we launched, as you know, Adrian, I think we've done 70 to 80, I would say, episodes. We haven't put all those out. Of those, I would say probably about 75% of those were user submitted, community submitted tips. So I always pull from that. A lot of times I'll text you, Adrian, and I'll say, hey, what do you want to cover for this month? You'll give me a case or two. I'll throw that in. Lately, I've been trying to pick cases that are either big name cases that everyone's heard about or cases that are just happening, like just kind of breaking in the news. Like we just did Nancy Guthrie. That's a big story. In 2 weeks, we're doing Corey Richens, which is the Utah mom who hypothetically, murdered her husband by poisoning his Moscow Mule with fentanyl, allegedly. So that's what I've been doing lately because I find that, and I'm sure you find this as well, when it's a big name case or it's a recent case that's in the headlines, I think it's easier for the audience to engage with us about it. We don't have to do so much heavy lifting in the beginning to explain everything to them. So that's a long answer to a short question.
No, that was good. I to be honest, I really felt uncomfortable about the Nancy Guthrie, and you made me feel a little better. But I was like, we were going into like, okay, just say your controversy and what do you think? And the Epstein case got thrown up, and I was like, oh my gosh, Savannah, don't watch this, or maybe I want you to watch this. I don't even know what I wanted at that point because I was starting to get a little nervous. Like, what are we like? Will people get mad at us? But that's a risk that you take, right, when you're doing true crime?
It is a risk, and I could tell that you were getting uncomfortable, and I felt bad. But it's funny, sometimes I do like push a little bit, and maybe that is the journalist in me where I'm like, I want to get to the facts. I want to know what happened, even if it's uncomfortable. And you're very much like that too. But yeah, sometimes you do get a little bit like, oh no, like, you know, which is understandable. Um, but you know what? I feel like I edit the podcast. So if there's anything in there that's truly horrific or defamatory or something that's just going to be in such poor taste, I'll edit that out. So that's why I'm not always as worried about it in the moment, if that makes sense.
I just want to tell you, I was right about Aaron Hernandez case because when I was in Creative Con, I roomed with uh, um, Health. She calls herself Health, a really lovely woman, and she actually does like sports therapy for the stars. And I was like, so is CRE, I think it's called, right? Is that a real thing? Is that what happened to Aaron Hernandez? And she said, absolutely yes. And I said, oh, you don't think it was all the drugs he was taking? And she said, no. And I'm like, oh, then I was right. That's how I rationalized it in my mind. But yeah,
No,
I was right.
you probably were. And honestly, sometimes both of us can get a little bit more controversial than maybe we normally would on the show just to kind of encourage the conversation, you know? So sometimes we do, sometimes at least I'll speak for myself, sometimes I will take a little bit of a harder or a more controversial angle than I would in my day-to-day life because I'm like, you know what, let's explore this angle of it. So there's that aspect to it as well.
And the Karen Reed case, that was actually a good case. We did feel some of it, we felt the same way, and some of it not. What did you think about the Karen Reed case after you edited it?
That's one of my favorite episodes that we've done. That's a conspiracy theory that I actually, for once, can get on board with. I'm not a big conspiracy theory person. I don't know. When someone throws out a conspiracy theory, I automatically am like, okay, LOL. Like, that sounds insane. But the Karen Reed case, I was kind of like, after really doing the research and thinking it through, I'm like, this doesn't add up. This doesn't make sense. The narrative that's being told from the perspective of the prosecution just make it make sense to me. I couldn't make it all fit. So I was, diving into the conspiracy theory. I'm like, all right, I understand why people think that because that's what it looks like to me.
I want to ask the room, and please unmic if you want to have questions. But I actually want to ask you. We're live on Chatter Social. Download the Chatter app. It is free in your Play Store, and you can be in the room. And Thursdays at 7 p.m. we record, and we'd love to have your voice. I've always felt, and I want Joseph to answer first, and I would love to hear from you guys. I always felt if I had to believe a conspiracy, I had to go to a negative way of thinking. And I am very positive. And so it would be hard for me. So in Karen Reed's case, it's believing that there is a corruption in the police force. I mean, whoa, that's really hard to believe because thank you, all your police officers, for all your hard work. And I only have honor and respect. But like anything, there are some bad eggs, but going there is really difficult for me. So that's why I don't believe. Do you think that that's similar to maybe why you don't believe, or is a different reason?
So for the Karen Reed case, that was exactly like the same line of thinking I was going towards. Like, right, we know that there are some bad eggs. We know that there are some bad cops. That's everywhere. That's inevitable in any profession. Um, but yeah, having to kind of look at it from the perspective of like this really kind of almost extreme conspiracy of all these people coordinating together, that was, yeah, difficult for me to wrap my head around and still kind of is. Yeah. So I think that's why.
It really is. Anybody want to respond to that and give us a answer on Chatter Social, which we are on, and we've got a nice size room?
Uh, Adrienne, it's Danielle. I mean, I felt kind of similar to you when it came to conspiracy. I felt it was always, seen as a negative type of thing, but having these conversations and discussions about these different cases and what people have to say, my mind definitely has changed in terms of that, but yeah, that's just my take. I have to agree with you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
This is Debbie. Yeah, I have to go along with that. Like, I'm not a big conspiracy theory person either, but when things don't make sense, they just don't make sense, and there has to be a different explanation. So, on this particular case, yeah, I definitely think that there's a little conspiracy going on, and there's bad people in everything. So, you just have to take that and just take it all into account. You have to remember there's bad people everywhere.
Thank you, Debbie. Debbie runs the morning chatter and Chatter, and Kelly does the rise and grind in Chatter. So if you come into Chatter, there's a lot of education in the room. If anyone else wants to go, just on mic. I will say the first time I ever heard, Joseph, what if we tackled this? That would be the craziest thing. It'd have to be like a 10-part show. The first time I ever learned of a conspiracy, you answer that, Joseph.
Okay, say that one more time, Adrian. Sorry.
The first time I ever like heard of a conspiracy would be, and then you're going to answer that.
That is a great question. I have to I have to think about that. Could you go first?
I'll go first.
I
So
really
for
do.
me, it was the killing of President Kennedy. And who did it, and and was it Oswald, and then why would he have done it, and all of that, and it just seems, and then the conspiracy around the whole entire family, and the bad luck, and I just thought, well, my gosh, was the Godfather about the Kennedys, like, and I was fairly young. Well, I was 62 when he was shot, so that was actually my age, but that would have been my first time that I ever thought, okay, there's some, what is this word called, conspiracy? Hey, Lauren, welcome. My question is for Joseph and for anyone to answer. What is the first time that you can recall, whether you were young or older, a conspiracy that you realize something is a conspiracy, something people are saying something and it maybe doesn't line up or doesn't go, it goes against the grain of what is being put out there?
So I will say
Anyone?
that one comes to mind from when I was younger was the conspiracy that we did not land on the moon. I remember that being discussed. I remember a teacher bringing that up in class and showing us a video that would almost imply that we didn't land on the moon. And I just remember thinking, like, I don't, is the public school funding going to be happy that this is occurring in the classroom? But that's one that sticks out to me, the moon landing conspiracy.
That's a great one. That is a great one. Anyone else want to contribute to that question?
Hey, it's Lauren Lapointe. I remember when I went to school, like I remember watching the Challenger's space rocket or the mission actually explode, and then was told the following year that the people were not on it and they did not die and they were wandering around. I thought it was very odd because I thought the world saw that happened at the time, but that was the first conspiracy that I kind of went, "What? What's going on?" Because I actually was one of those children that actually saw it on the TV happen live in school. So I was just like, to hear people talking that didn't happen. It was bizarre for me.
Thank you, Dr. Lapointe. Congratulations on getting your doctorate. I think that is huge and it makes good sense to
Yeah.
me. So I want to make sure if everyone is not following Lauren on LinkedIn or hasn't heard the news, I'm impressed and I'm proud to call you a friend. So absolutely wonderful. And that's so true. I remember watching Christy, right? Oh my gosh, my heart is still pounding that we all witnessed that. And then Lauren, actually, years later, I was with Leadership Orlando, and we got to go under. And they explained we got to go under the Atlantis, but they explained to us right after that they will never have the family members mingling with the people because they were right there. So now once it starts, then the countdown begins, the family goes to another area. Just God forbid. Great, great. Thank you. That answer is great. Leah just popped in the room. Hey, Leah. Do you really know who Joseph Labasco is?
I'm
But
so excited to find out.
we're still getting to it. But I want to ask you. I was asking Joseph, and I loved his answer. What when you're growing up, or as you get older, what do you feel like the first conspiracy that you ever heard of a conspiracy? What would that be? Do you recall? I know it takes a minute. I'll let you come back to that because you have to think about. Oh, Mariana's got her hands up. Leah, think of your answer. Mariana, take the mic.
I think the first one for me was the aliens. Like they told us there were aliens and people had seen them. And yeah, and so you have to be careful because they may take you away. But I've never seen one and they haven't taken me away yet. So definitely a conspiracy.
I love that. I'm waiting for them to take me away. Danielle.
It actually happened recently on here when I was in Carlos's room discussing 9/11 and the conspiracies behind that because like living in New York at the time I was in high school, so and seeing it on TV, for me, things it actually did happen, but the conspiracy behind what other people are thinking of what actually happened was interesting to hear. That was probably my first thought when it came to conspiracy.
That's a great point too. You're right. You're right. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that's good because we talk about conspiracies a lot in true crime and what it's like. Like I believe that mothers make serial killers. Mothers also feed their kids cereal. I don't know. Serial killers is not a funny thing. So, Joseph, what do you think? We talk about this a lot. The idea of, how is a serial killer like? How do they form? Like, what is in their history that would make them with zero empathy?
So I think it is a combination of factors. I think that some people have just certain predispositions that are going to make them potentially do stuff like that. I mean, we have a certain percentage of the population that are clinically diagnosable as a psychopath. Their brains work differently than yours and mine do. They don't experience empathy like a normal person would. Sociopaths also. So I think those types of biological factors mixed with um, like nurture, for lack of a better term, like their environment. Like I think that again, I'm not a psychologist, not even close, but I think there's certain scenarios, abusive scenarios, toxic scenarios, combined with those like biological factors that really can create the perfect storm for some of these people. At least that's how I sleep at night. That's what I tell myself is that that's why.
Do you ever tell yourself, in my lifetime, I probably met a couple of serial killers, had like, they were behind me in the grocery store and I let them go in front of me, or I seen them in the elevator, talk to them.
Absolutely. I can almost guarantee that I have definitely met serial killers in my life. Yeah, for sure. Which is
What do you
terrifying.
guys think? It really is awful. What do you guys think when you think of a serial killer? Like, how do you like? What are your thoughts on like how a serial killer comes to be a serial killer? Anyone want to take the mic? Or maybe it's your neighbor that you find killing the cats, right? They usually start with animals.
They do. That's one of the warning signs, which I mean, That should be pretty obvious, right? If your kid's killing animals, I think maybe it's time to take Timmy to your local psychiatrist, because that's obviously very concerning.
Yeah, that is awful. The other thing is that when we're talking about a serial killer and trying to understand it, were you in the room? I don't know if anyone was in the room. There's a few people. We were talking about the murder gene, and then Dr. Catherine got a little upset that I brought it up. Do you remember that conversation?
Vaguely, I know that you are fascinated by the murder gene. You bring it up, and then you're like, but then Dr. Catherine got upset. So you like kind of reel back on it. But I know that you are fascinated by that concept.
Right? Because I feel like it could be hereditary when you're like, and there has been proof of that people, that someone carries that gene. Maybe it's a gene of just, oh, I don't even know. See, and then I get all like worked up about it. It's tough. Who else got some questions for me? My heart is racing because we started talking about that now. Who wants to ask Joseph a deep, dark question? So Joseph, what about your life? So
Oh,
right now,
I've
go
had
ahead.
two questions in.
Oh, good chat. Take it away.
Oh no, I had two questions in the chat. So, what is your sign?
Oh, wait, you
Joseph?
had two questions? Okay.
Did y'all hear me?
Yeah, so my
I asked him what
sign,
was his sign.
yes. So my sign is I'm a Sagittarius, I believe. I'm not super into horoscopes, but yes, that's what I've been told. I'm a Sagittarius. Yes.
Wait, you've been told?
Okie dokie.
Okay.
And were you? Yeah, you were born in December.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's Sagittarius, or
Okay.
you don't want
Are
to be a
you
crazy
sure you're
person.
not in Capricorn?
And
And then what was the second question, chat, if you're there?
my other question was, were you on?
You keep getting muted, chat.
Is that a glitch? Maybe.
Maybe you.
Sorry, guys, some technical difficulties we're working out.
Oh, she wrote in the chat. Were you on Clubhouse?
Yes, I was on Clubhouse. I was very quiet on there. This was during the pandemic as I was discovering my love of true crime documentaries. I was on Clubhouse. Um, I would pop into Debate the News sometimes and Milling the Marathon sometimes, but I was not a like loyal regular. Like I didn't even know most of the people in who were part of the Debate the News crew until I joined Chatter. Like I think I knew of Nelson, I knew of Jonathan, I knew of like Diana. I think I recognized a couple other people, but I really didn't know anyone else. So long answer to a short question, yes, I was on Clubhouse.
Me too. I was quiet. Okay, so as we're talking about the true crime, Joseph, and I want to get my question straight in my head. So we're doing the true crime. We're doing the podcast. I always say, do you feel it afterwards? But one time you said you did feel like a little heebie-jeebies when you were doing some editing, but you don't like have nightmares about anything. Nothing weird comes to you.
Not really. I don't know. I've always watched, like, been a huge horror movie fan. So maybe I'm just so used to, like, watching, like, Scream at, like, night, like, by myself and, like, not getting scared. Like, I'm just so used to it. So maybe that's why the true crime doesn't hit me as hard as most people. But occasionally there will be a case where it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm editing a case or I'm writing a script or I'm doing research and it just, I don't know, you just get that weird feeling where you're just like, oh my God. And you almost like, it hits you like how real all of this is. So there's been a couple cases. The Nancy Guthrie freaked me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. One night, because just the idea of someone like the unknown. It's so random. We don't know why this happened. We don't know what the motive is. The idea of just a masked man, a masked would-be killer showing up to your house with no motive and just taking you in the middle of the night, that is so scary to me. So that's one of the cases where I'm just like, what the F happened with that?
Yeah, house invasions have always been scary. I was 6 years old when my siblings introduced me to Birds, Psycho, Rosemary's Baby, and I'll say it out loud really quickly. Don't ever say it again though. Night of the Living Dead. Holy hell! And all my brother had to do is walk by my bedroom and go Night of the Living Dead, and then I was like traumatized for the entire evening. Seriously, I looked out the window and saw like characters of people out there. It was scary. Have you ever seen that movie?
Adrian, of course I've seen that movie. I've seen like every horror movie you can imagine, I've probably seen. Like that doesn't bother me because I can tell myself it's a movie. You zoom out, there's a set with like 200 people there. You've got the fake like it's not real. There's a right like I think of it that way. But with true crime, you can't really rationalize it the same way because it is real.
I thought the zombies were real too. All right, let's shout out. Besides Amplify You and Mariana has a podcast. Mariana, a mic and share your podcast if you can. Otherwise, we're going to come back to you. All right, I'm going to shout out.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Shout out your
Yeah, my
podcast.
podcast is called Mindfully Recharged with Mariana Thomas. And I talk about a lot about emotional intelligence, self care, personal growth topics. They're very, very short. They're not long episodes because I don't like to bore my audience. Um, I guess I think about what I want to listen to. So I put myself in their shoes and I just want short episodes to the point that gives me something that I can reflect. I always have a PDF with each episode so they can download the PDF and follow along as they listen and they can work through it. So yes, it's very informative. It's an educational podcast. Thank you, Adrian.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay, so what I want to do is shout out the true crime podcast that you listen to. So I'm going to go first though, because Annie Elise, I girl crush. I think you're amazing. Call me. My number is 386. You get my number. I'll text it to you. Okay, Joseph, tell me about the podcast that you listen to. We'll shout them out and then I'll tag them.
Okay, yeah. So one of the only true crime podcasts I listen to is Caught in My Web by Jodine Weber. She is a former FBI agent. She's also a former local news anchor. And I just randomly found her podcast because she was on another podcast that I listened to, which is Reality Life with Kate Casey. She's cool too. Reality she does interviews with reality stars, but she also will do true crime. So Jody Weber came on, was talking about, I believe, Idaho College murders, and I was like, I really like her. Let me check out her podcast. So that is what I really the only true crime podcast I listen to. And although I love it, honestly, I don't listen to it very often because I don't want to copy her takes without realizing it. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to inadvertently start copying the cases she's doing, or I kind of want to form my own opinion about and do my own research sometimes. But yeah, it's great. It's on Patreon. I think it's only $5 a month. She's really cool. I've DM'd with her before. She actually did a case that I recommended years ago, before I ever even thought in a million years that I would do a true crime podcast, before I even met Adrienne. So yeah, it's a great show, and she's really cool and really nice, and cares a lot about our community. So yeah, Caught in My Web
Oh, I love that.
with Jodine Weber, definitely.
I love her last name is Weber, so I love that Caught in the Web. That is really a great name. That is fun. If you guys have a podcast, just you can unmic or shout it out or put it in the chat. And because we're not in a tunnel, right? We're sharing, and I love the fact that they have a true crime convention, and hoping in 27 that we get to go and that we're asked to go and be speakers. So true crime convention, call us. But
Absolutely.
because we want to meet the other true crime podcasts. Ours is different because we have a live audience. So anyone want to shout out their true crime podcast they like besides DTN True Crime? If not, that is okay. So Joseph, I want to make sure that we touch a little bit about like just what you enjoy doing in life. I know that you live at the beach. Do you go to the beach a lot?
So I am not someone who usually goes to the beach. I'm more of a pool person, but I love living by the beach. So I love the beach vibes. I love the salt in the air. I love going to a restaurant on the beach and having a martini at happy hour with my friends. I love that. Um, but yeah.
What is so where you live, is it like what do you have for seafood that's like popular? Maine is lobster. I don't know if I was to go to where your beach is, what would I be eating for seafood?
We have pretty much everything, I would say. So I live by the Jersey Shore, for anyone listening. Not the Jersey Shore you see on the MTV show. I live in Monmouth County, right by Red Bank, New Jersey. Beautiful. I call it like the hidden gem of the East Coast. It's just amazing. We have some of the best restaurants, like, you know, in the whole tri-state area in Monmouth County, specifically Red Bank, Rumson, that area. We have everything, Adrian. I mean, I'm like a big seafood person, so I always do like, lobster or shrimp or scallops, and it's just I I don't always realize how spoiled I am living here to have all this amazing fresh food until I go somewhere else and I'm like, this definitely tastes like it was frozen on a truck from like, God knows where.
Do people pay for parking, or do you pay to get on your beach?
People pay for parking and to get on the beach. Luckily, everywhere I've lived, except for this recent place that I bought, I've been pretty much on the beach, so I didn't have to pay for parking. But yeah, it's expensive to go to the beach in New Jersey.
Yeah, I don't know if people understand that. I remember going to Point Pleasant, and it's so weird. Like our beaches, actually, we drive on our beaches, which makes Daytona Beach a little unusual. But what does that look like? So you're walking, and then all of a sudden, there's like a little gate to get on the beach. I'm not sure. Is it like Point Pleasant?
So Point Pleasant is like they have like a full like Point Pleasant's a little different. It depends on what part of the beach you go to. There are some areas where there's no boardwalk. It's just like Deal, New Jersey, for example, is a great place. I go there too. I do like drone photography as like a hobby. Speaking of hobbies, and the beach in Deal, New Jersey is just beautiful. But it's basically huge mansions on the beach. There's no boardwalk. There's no like businesses. It's not like what you would think of when you think of, a beach walk up. But there are little entrances where you can just walk onto the beach and you're there. And some of those spots won't, some of those spots they don't charge you, I guess. I don't know what it's like in the summer. I don't want to say don't go to the Deal Beach thinking you're going to get on for free. But I'm rambling, but it depends. It depends basically.
And one last question that I want to open up. Do you see New York City from your beach? Is that a weird question?
With my drone, I can definitely see New York City from my beach, like a clear shot. If I go up by like the Sandy Hook area, yeah, you can see the whole Manhattan skyline. Um, it's beautiful.
Oh wow, yeah, I definitely have to find a house sit over there. So, anyone want to have ask any questions? Anyone go deep? Hey, Gilead, nice to have you here, Lennon and Anne, and hi, Christy, and thank you for those in the audience. Anyone want to ask Joseph any questions? Make them juicy.
Hey, Joseph, I got a question for you. What inspires you to do what you do every day?
That is a good question. Honestly, honestly, I don't know. We started doing this. I agreed to it. I was like, okay, this will be fun. This will be cool. And if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I don't like starting something and not finishing it. And if I agree to do something, I don't like just doing it halfway. So if I commit to something, um, which I can be very selective about what I say yes to, I kind of want to go all the way with it. So I think once we started this and I was like, this is something I like and it's something I've locked into, I want to keep going with it and I want it to be the best it can be. So that's kind of my drive, if that makes sense.
Great question. Who was that? Who was that? Lennon?
It was me. It was me. Yeah.
Yeah, Lennon. That's interesting that you asked that because when I think back, I think Joseph missed I mean, he just had to go see Scary Movie 6 out June 6th, I think.
Scream
Joseph?
7, yeah, it's in theaters
Scream
right
7.
now.
Oh, oh, don't even listen to me. Okay, but I think Joseph missed that one time and he was not feeling once good. So I mean, imagine in a year missing 2 Thursdays, and we were doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I think I missed like 3 or 4 maybe just by traveling. I think that's a commitment we made to each other and then just mostly to ourselves too, that we wouldn't miss anything.
Absolutely. And you've made the same commitment that I have. You have had that same commitment and follow through as well. Like Adrienne is one of the best people to work with. She's so consistent. She's easy to work with. And she shows up and she does what she says she's going to do. And I think that my drive and my way of doing things, plus yours, is part of the reason why this works, right? Because neither one of us are flaky. When we commit and we do it. So, just as much credit to you, Adrienne, for the success of all this.
Thank you. Yes, I'm not flaky, mom and dad up in heaven. Anyone
No,
else have any questions? No? So Joseph, it really is fun hearing you speak out and debate the news. I think we all agree that you have a great style of when you're sharing your information. You are never nasty, never unkind to anyone. You make your point cleanly. Were you a Toastmaster?
no, I don't even know what that is. What is a Toastmaster?
A Toastmaster is an organization that teaches you to speak and also to debate. Were you in class, a club?
No, nope, Adrian. No, I was at the mall or like going tanning. I was like so not one of those people. But
So fun.
I think in college, majoring in PR, I think that's maybe where I get that from. I also filmed a pilot for a reality show that was supposed to be like it was supposed to be like Laguna Beach or the Hills, but for New Jersey. And one of my friends in college was on an episode of MTV True Life, and these producers met her. It was a whole thing, and she brought me and my friends into it. It was me and like 6 of my really close friends. We lived in this house together. So much fun, so many stories. Long story short, we filmed over a summer for this reality show that never wound up getting picked up. But I think between that and working in PR and being educated in PR, I think it just kind of instilled this um, way of communicating in me. And I'm really not doing it very well on this podcast right now because I'm not good about talking about myself, but almost speak in sound bites, be clear to the point and just kind of jump in, make your point, get out. Um, I think that type of PR style, plus being in a situation where I was in front of the camera and I had to be mindful of how is this going to be edited? How is this going to get cut in with everything else? I think just that experience informs the way I communicate, if that makes sense.
Do you know that it makes total sense. I actually studied journalism, and you just triggered a memory that I had. I remember, I think it was high school though. I don't think it was college, where we had the big cameras, right? They were like huge, the big cameras that you could see. And we went to this old cemetery because I grew up in Connecticut, and it was old cemetery. And we filmed about the murder, and then being in the cemetery, and then the body comes up, and we did the whole thing. The only problem with it is that I was so scared I dropped the camera and broke it because I literally scared myself. Like, it was the craziest thing because it felt so real. And going in, have you ever gone into cemeteries and just drove in them, or just, I don't know, walk a cemetery at night?
Honestly, I can't say I have, but that seems very scary. I would probably drop the camera too.
I used to love it. There was a whole thing. If you drove into a cemetery and a bird hit your car, someone would die in the vehicle. And I'm glad to say it happened to me, but nobody died in the vehicle. So that was just an old myth, old wives' tale.
That's great.
So
We
what,
love to hear that.
so what do you see the future of DTN before I let you go?
I think the future of
True
DTN is
crime.
going to be, yes, I think the future of DTN True Crime is going to be us at that crime convention in 2027. I think that's the start of it. I see this being successful. Look, people like it. I'm enjoying it. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. You seem like you're enjoying it. I don't see you going anywhere anytime soon. What really makes the show is our community and our guest contributors that come in, like Mariana, Danielle helps behind the scenes. There's so many people. I'm not logged into my chatter account, but I mean, there's just so many people listen to our podcast. That's really, for me, that's what makes the podcast what it is just all these phenomenal, intelligent people giving their honest takes, bringing in their expertise, sometimes their life experiences. Shauna, who's a lawyer, bringing her legal mind to it. It just that's what makes the show. So I think that as long as that continues, as long as we have an engaged community that shows up for us and helps us make this show what it is, then I think we'll continue to grow and do it for as long as they keep showing up for us. I'll keep showing up. So that's my
Me too.
thought.
I love that. Thank you for giving me 51 minutes. Before we close, anyone have anything that they would like to add? Danielle.
I saw chat had a question in the chat. How does Joseph keep his cool in DTN?
I'm going to bring that back to college. Living in a house with 6 women is not always the easiest thing, especially in college. Lots of chaos, lots of craziness. So I think I'm gonna attribute my time living in essentially a giant sorority party house for why I keep my cool in DTN, because nothing can phase me because I'm just, I think, so used to the chaos and the craziness.
That was a great question. Man, I wish I lived in a fraternity. My life stinks. Anyone else? Well, thank you all for joining. This is great. I absolutely love being with you, Joseph. It's nice to see your face. Yes, we may have to start streaming live so people see us, but then it's hard to read at the same time. But anyways,
It is.
thank you. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you wish I asked you?
No, I am good. Thank you for having me. I've been listening to this podcast, so it's an honor to finally be on it. So, love you. Thank you for everything that you do. I appreciate you for everything you do for the podcast, but also, outside of the podcast. Guys, Adrienne is the real deal. The Adrienne you get and you hear on this podcast is the Adrienne in real life. There's no front. She is just authentic and genuine and a wonderful person. And I'm just so happy to have met her and to get the pleasure to work with her as much as I do. So thank you, Adrienne.
Oh my God, ditto. Thank you, Joseph. Yes, yes, it would be weird to be someone else, but that's another question. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, chatter friends. I love you all. We'll see you in the cross the DTN room. Thank you, Joseph, for your time. I really appreciate it. That was fun. Thank you. Mwah. I love you guys. I really do. I love you all with all my heart. Thank you. I'm going to end the stream, and then